All right. So, last week I was not there. I'm not sure, not really that sure what you went through, but I think you covered introduction to cloud. Someone to respond if that was the case.
Yes, we did.
Okay.
Yes.
So I'm guessing the session was a bit easy because it's just a matter of introduction. What is cloud? The major cloud providers that are out there: GCP, Azure, AWS. So in this session, we'll be kind of getting a little bit more into details of what cloud has to offer. Yeah, so you can kind of brace yourselves for more to get into more depth of Rosy and Cloud. Anyway, we'll start off by talking about the migration into cloud, ideally making comparison between what we traditionally have on premises, and try to compare that with what's there in cloud. And for this, we'll need to make comparisons in terms of virtualization and the improvement in virtualization that came after, which is containerization. So yeah, so our topic for today is securing cloud compute services, and as part of the agenda, you should be able to one, define key concepts relating to cloud compute services, that is, in relation to server virtualization and container solutions. Then second agenda is to evaluate different cloud compute services available from leading cloud vendors, and that is the three main ones: GCP, AWS, and Azure. Then I should be able to analyze risk to these cloud compute services. The next agenda is to implement cloud compute services, including virtual machines and container instances and Kubernetes clusters. And finally, you should be able to secure implementing compute services through hardening, patching, and monitoring. Uh, of course, these are just ways of ensuring security. The hardening, patching, monitoring, but there's more to that in terms of ensuring security to your services in cloud. Anyway, so let's start off by looking at virtualization itself. So maybe you've come through this time in the past, and I believe you have actually, because I remember when we are asking you guys to install virtual machines on your devices, that it's laptops or whatever machine that you're using. So virtualization is just a way to kind of abstract a system resource on an actual machine so that it can kind of be available to a what you call the guest or host operating system that you'll be installing on top. Ideally, as you'll see in the upcoming slide, you have you have uh, let me just go get into the image. I'll talk about all this. Let me. I'm just looking for the image. Yeah. So ideally, you have normally, as for you guys, you have your hardware over here. So right here at the bottom section, that would be a hardware, and you can imagine this like you going to the shop and now purchasing the laptop itself. By the way, I hope you can see. I'll just try uh, to draw on the screen. I hope you can see that as well. Okay. So normally you kind of go to the shop and just buy what is this? Like say you get a laptop because I think everyone is trying to use a laptop of late. So that's the hardware that you'll be purchasing, and it will be at the very bottom section. That's like the layer one, starting from the bottom. Then from the hardware, which is right here, the next thing that you need to do is to get a operating system installation. So maybe you can do it still or at the shop there, or maybe your laptop comes with the operating system already installed. And this could be something like Windows operating system, Linux, depending on what you favor to use. Okay. Try to mute your mics kindly as you join the meeting. That goes for Grace. So you'll have your hardware at the bottom. Then on top of that hardware, you need to make an installation of your operating system, depending on what you favor to use, if it's a Linux distro or maybe something from Windows. On top of that, now you need to install what you call a virtual machine monitor, or in other case, it's also called it's called a hypervisor in sometimes. So that is what you guys could saw yourselves going for something like VMware, uh, Oracle VirtualBox. So that is your virtual machine monitor, because it is the feature that helps you, or at least the technology that helps you to now uh, bring in that video virtualization in your machine. So you'll install something like the Oracle VirtualBox or VMware. There's so many out there. That will be a virtual machine monitor. Then on top of that, now you can start installing more operating systems depending on your hardware resources that are available with the machine that you're using. So in most occasions, if you need to install like 2, 3 virtual machines, you want to do a virtualization whereby you have 2 or 3 other operating systems installed in your actual PC, then you'll need some good amount of RAM, hard disk space, and all that. Yeah, so that's the case, and you can find yourself maybe running a different operating system, which is just not the same operating system that installed on your actual machine. So for instance, if you have Windows operating system, you may find yourself now running a virtual machine of Linux distro on top, or even compare another, or even run another Windows operating system still on top of that. So those are the steps. Those are the steps. You start with the at the bottom, the hardware, then go for the operating system, then your virtual machine monitor, or in other words, the hypervisor, and finally the virtual machines that you want to install will be on top. So that is the typical way for um, most users to go about virtualizations. But then when it comes to the business and enterprise environment, and here things are a bit different, because the way to go, the type 2 kind of hypervisor, or what you see on the right side of the screen, that only allows not really, it can't really support a lot of machines to be installed, and it also doesn't favor a good performance of the virtualized machines. So the best way to go about virtualization is whereby you just get a dedicated hardware. So for instance, in most cases, people will get a server. The server will be coming with good specs. So for instance, you may get a server that comes with like 32 GB of RAM. It has disk drive slots, whereby in case one of the disk drive fills up, you can just slide in a new drive, and it will increase the space that your virtual machines need. So That's how people I mean that's how things go happen in the enterprise world. People get dedicated server, and that would now be hardware at the bottom here. Um, then on top of that hardware, then you install enterprise level hypervisor. So this now will be the likes of Oracle VirtualBox. This will be something else. For instance, it could be something like uh, VMware EXI or Windows. Microsoft has its own, I think it's called Hyper-V. So those are the kinds of virtual machine monitor that will be installed at this point. So you can already see this difference. You're skipping the host operating system part, and you're going directly to the what is it called? You're going directly to the virtual machine monitor in terms of the installation we have in type 1 over here. So on top of that virtual machine monitoring type 1 hypervisor, you now install the virtual machines that you need them running. So you could have Linux, you could have Windows, you could have Mac OS, whatever virtual machine that you want it installed. Yeah. Then so in terms of technologies, what you see highlighted in red, okay, on the left side of the screen, uh, okay, right here, sorry, what you see here, this is what we call type 1 hypervisor, and type 2 hypervisor is this one right here. So that's the difference. And type 1 hypervisor are also called bare metal or native. If you hear of bare metal or native uh, virtual machine, just know it's the type 1. Then if you hear of hosted virtual machine, just know it's the type 2 one. I thought it could have been easy to start with that pictorial view of the implementation of a virtual machine for you to understand it. So all these previous slides just talk about this more or less the same thing that I've talked about here. I'll give it out to you so that you can go through the notes in details, but that's actually what you need to understand. So we have virtualization solutions for small businesses. Like I said, we have the virtualization solutions for more of personal use, because in most cases, uh, when you're thinking of that personal use, this could be someone like a student just trying out virtualization technology, and they don't want to pay for it. So those are aside. Then we have the enterprise solutions when it comes to virtualization, and this goes for small businesses. So for instance, we have in this case we can think of the major companies that are out there. So we have VMware. They have their own they have their solutions, and an example could be something like vSphere. Then we have Citrix. It's also another organization that majors in virtualization solutions, and for them they have things like VDI in a box. They have Xena fundamentals. uh, there's just a lot. You'll have to look up what are the features that come with these solutions, and the advantages slash disadvantages. Then we have also IBM in the play, and as for their solutions, we have IBM System X, IBM Power Systems, IBM Blade Center, IBM PureFlex System Express. I believe there's so much more, but I think the biggest player is VMware, because they're kind of the ones who are popular in terms of uh, providing virtualization solutions. So benefits of virtualization, we have first up, we have reduced expenses. So in a traditional setup, you previously say you are to run a server. So a server basically just runs an application that is dedicated to offer services to the end users. So maybe something like a web service. Yeah, previously back in the days, that is how things used to be that if it runs something like a web server, then it needed its own dedicated hardware to run on top of it. And it was only going to be that web server running on that hardware and nothing else. So you can see that if you need to run maybe some more servers that will to do other kind of functionalities, then you'll need to buy even more server hardware for them to be sold on and start doing their work. But with virtualization, what you just need to do is get a single server with the specs that are necessary to run, say, a number of servers, and that's why you see the idea of reduced expenses. Then we have resiliency. So resiliency, how you can think of this is from the term resilient, and to be resilient means that uh, nothing really can put you down and can weigh you down and just keep you down on the floor. So as much as maybe you fall, yeah, you get up in terms of the personal. I mean, in terms of the human life. So if you are to fall, you come back up. It's the same thing with IT resources. So when it comes to the server world, for instance, you need something that it won't be susceptible to just fail and fail completely. So as much as glitches may happen, you need something that can come back to being active and continue running. So that's another advantage with virtualization, because you can easily have a backup of your server running in that virtual machine, that specific virtual machine that's running on actually the individual virtual machines running within your server hardware. You can have a copy of those virtual machines, such that if any of them fail at a given point, then you can easily use it. I mean, use that copy that you have or that backup that you have to maybe install it in a different hardware, and it will go back to running once again, because virtualization is not really like doing a whole installation. It's kind of easy. Then we have high availability, and this actually uh, comes up because of the resiliency. So high availability is whereby you have redundancy of something. So with virtualization, you can make your virtual machines to be redundant, say in different servers, and so in case of server hardware gets to fail, then there is another copy of the same virtual machine running on a different server hardware. It could be elsewhere, it could be still within the same on-premise environment. And this is something that is actually also implemented in cloud. You hear of things called availability zones. Yeah, so availability zones or regions that is to do with the high availability of your services. Then scalability. So scalability is actually you can think of it as the expansion or the expansion of should I say reduction of your resources. Say for instance, if you are to maybe if you are running something like a storage, you set up your server your virtualized environment to kind of work like a storage service. So scalability may allow you to increase on that storage in case you need to store more data. Or I think a good example would be the IT resources, such as maybe the RAM or CPU power. So if you're running a machine that really you're not sure about its RAM or CPU usage with time, because sometimes maybe there's high demand, people are really trafficking your web services, and at such a time you need more RAM, you need more CPU power. So virtualization could help you with this. So you can easily because all this you have you have the hardware there already, and it has like maybe 32 GB of RAM, 64 GB of RAM, whatever amount of RAM that you have. So it's just there waiting for you for it to be used. So you can increase, you can easily increase that RAM that needs to be there, or CPU power that needs to be there. And if there's no need for it, you can also as well uh, minimize the RAM or CPU needs that should be there. And I think we also have, so that is in terms of what you call upward or downward scaling. Then we have horizontal scaling. So horizontal scaling is actually adding more instances to say you want a virtual machine. I mean, you have a virtual machine like that is running your web server, and you notice that okay, this web server is getting more traffic than it was that okay than you had planned for it. So okay, if I can just try to draw here. So you have your web server over here, and there is a lot of traffic coming into this web server right here. So the next thing that you can think of to just load balance on that traffic that is incoming, you can choose to uh, install to come up with a new virtual machine that will run the same function as the previous web server. So by doing that, what you'll have actually done is try to bring in the idea of load balancing. So this this these two virtual machines will kind of help each other. It's like you are working with a single one of your single just a single hand. Then you notice that maybe you need to carry two things for you to work efficiently. So you'll start making use of your two hands. So it's the same thing. Uh, whenever you increase you do such an increase, that is what we call horizontal scaling. So if I can just draw a graph for it, is this this how you can if you draw the x and y graph, okay. So if horizontal scaling will be on the, what is it? We call the, okay, it should be on this horizontal line as the name, horizontal scaling. So if increase going to either direction, that is horizontal scaling. If increase going up or decrease going down, as that is what we call vertical scaling. So how to really differentiate the two is whenever you have you whenever you do an installation of a new instance, or maybe you deploy a new instance, like in our case here, yeah, we needed to deploy another web server, and you may as well need to deploy a third web server depending on your needs or the demand. So those are what we call instances. These are this right here. Sorry, these right here are what we call instances. And for every instance that you increase or decrease, that is what we call uh, horizontal scaling. But then when it comes to things like RAM, CPU, storage, those are what we call what are they? They're increasing or decreasing on these if I can, if for lack of word, if I can say property, increasing or decreasing on these things like RAM, CPU, storage, that is what we call vertical scaling. So you can increase or decrease. I hope that is clear. Uh, let me see. I think. Then we have increased efficiency as another benefit of virtualization. So ideally, I think if really you've worked with the virtual machines, then you may notice that there is that ease of management that comes with it. So for instance, if you're not using virtual machine, then ideally say you were to what is this? You were to just run something like a Linux operating system and Windows operating system. So ideally, if you're not using virtual machine, then you may need to say get one laptop, then another laptop. So one of these laptops will be running Windows, then the other laptop say will be running something like Linux, right? Then if you are to maybe uh choose to maybe you prefer working with Linux, and at that time your Windows machine is shut down, maybe it's even elsewhere. So uh, if you're to consider going back to working with the Windows operating system, then it may need you to maybe go back at home and get that your laptop that is running Windows to start using it. And you can see even the idea of portability will be an issue in this case. So efficiency in terms of virtualization is whereby you'll just be having a single box, and within this single box you have your Linux there, and you'll have your Windows operating system as well there, all in one box. So the only thing for you to do is choose which one you want to work with, because they're right there at your disposal. Then also, if maybe you were to run a number of different other operating systems, you can easily get a good machine that has, of course, the things like good storage amount, good CPU, good RAM. Then you have like maybe three operating systems running. You can install something like Microsoft, like Windows Server. If you want to play around with the Windows Server, you can install any of the Linux distro, and you'll be having a single sorry about that. My internet just dropped. I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
Okay, and you can see the presentation slide, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so where did you guys lose me? I talked about scalability. I was talking about efficiency in virtualization.
I believe you dropped off towards the end of you explaining increased efficiency.
Okay. But ideally, the idea with the increased efficiency is you can be having a single glass pane whereby you can monitor your installed operating system, whatever machines that you have virtualized. You have it all there on a single glass pane. So this is something you can easily try out and see that this is working with it, other than managing different server hardwares that are maybe seated even in different places. Yeah, so that's that. Then we have green IT, of course. Currently, everything people are trying to think green in everything. So ideally, with virtualizations, because you're cutting down on the hardware need, so you won't be running a lot of servers like in the past. You just get a single server, and by using that single server, you'll have cut down on things like the power usage compared to maybe if you're running um, three server hardwares that all need to run their individual services. So all these now is getting all these three are now getting consolidated into a single server hardware. So that is the point with the Green IT. But there's more advantages to it. You can just check it out on yourself. Let's just go through some of the disadvantages that come with the virtualizations. Of course, everything this world is two-sided. So first off, we have hefty upfront costs. So uh, this may actually impact someone, or say business that's trying to move into that idea of virtualization for the first time, because there's what you call capital expenditure and operational expenditure. So if you were to set up everything on your own, that is on premises, you want to virtualize your services. Buying these server hardware is not cheap. They are very expensive, and in the process, you may also uh, you also need to buy like say the hypervisors. You need to pay for their license, so they are not for free, of course. So you can think of such in terms of the software and hardware, at the upfront cost that you'll be incurring if you consider going to virtualization. That is you setting it up for yourself, and like approaching using the cloud approach to do virtualization. And the next one is not all hardware or software can be virtualized. And this comes, for this, we can point out something like, say, the malware protection. Something like malware protection solution may need to interact with, say, your operating system for it to really see what's going on in the kernel as well, and make sure there is that total security at least to your system. Because some of these malwares, they get sophisticated such that they won't be attacking the upper layers. They'll go here to the operating system to start compromising the entire system from there. Then we have security attacks still being kind of possible as much as you're using virtualization technology. So this is actually compared to cloud, because the cloud itself is really it's really like a goldmine for attackers. They know much. There's too much out there in cloud, because currently most organizations don't want to be setting up their own premises environment. They want to outsource everything from cloud. So in cloud actually uses virtualization to make sure that to provide almost all these services that people access through the public cloud services. So there are still concerns to do with security attacks. Then virtualization may require special skills as well, also to just make sure that you're making you're making full utilization and getting that efficacy out of virtualization. So there is efficiency and there is efficacy. You can try to check that out. So sometimes you can even imagine it to yourself when, say, you for some of you maybe you are installing the virtualization solution for the first time, something like a VMware or Oracle box, and I had some of you trying to say that they are trying to set up file share between the operating system and okay, the main operating system and the guest operating system, and they were facing a challenge. So you can see it kind of requires you to be skilled so that you can know really how to tweak things in that virtualization environment. And that way you'll be able to get a full utilization of the product that you're using or that feature of virtualization. Then in terms of cloud, we have availability concern because uh, if you're to set up things on premises, we have two major ways. I'm not sure if you did if you're introduced to cloud deployment models. So we have the public, we have private, we have hybrid. I mean hybrid and community. So the common two ways are either public or private. So in terms of private, you can think of it as you, maybe you just personally as a user, a single user, or you as an enterprise or organization. When you do everything on premises, so you set up your virtualization technologies on premises to run almost all the services that is required by your company. When you set up things on premises, that is private deployment. When now you reach out to public cloud providers like say Microsoft or AWS or Google, and you're trying to use their compute services wherever they are hosted to for you to run your web service, for you to run maybe your databases, all that. That is what you call uh, public deployment. And if you think of that public deployment in that perspective of using public cloud, then you don't really have control of the services that are running wherever they are. Because for sure enough, you barely know. You may know, yeah, that when you're setting up your virtual machine, you requested it to be set up maybe in US, UK, or wherever place. But even the exact point where this thing is running from, you don't know because there are different data centers within a single country, maybe. And even if you knew where it is, then you still don't have control over these compute services. So in case of failure, you have to rely on that CP or what you call cloud provider to bring back the services available to you. So you really don't have control over it. Then we have what we call server support, and this may affect both that public deployment or and even the private deployment of the compute services. So on premises, maybe you have your maybe the organization has bought, the management has bought a good server hardware that can really install a lot of stuff on it before it starts running out of the resources like CPU and RAM. So because of this, people may want to take advantage that, okay, let's install this, let's run this other application. And with time, you may find yourself that you've really installed a lot of services that it's start becoming even hard for you to track what is what and when is it supposed to be updated and all that. So that is what you call servers pro. You kind of install a lot for you to even that it gets challenging for you to even keep track of what you install. And this will affect both on-premise environment and even in cloud. Because in fact, in cloud you have almost unlimited resource to that you can leverage. So that is to do with the virtual machine and uh, its setup model. Do you have any question after that point before I get to virtual machine now? virtual machine security in Azure Cloud. A question, or maybe someone should go, should just repeat for you guys to understand. Okay. So in case of any question in the process, just feel free to interrupt. So let's look at virtual machine security in Azure Cloud. And actually, this is something that could as well be the security that we're going to talk about is something that you can as well um, try to implement in terms of the data on premises setup, because in Azure, you have that is a public cloud, and on premises that will be a private cloud. So in case you're not really relying on a cloud provider, then if you have to set it up for yourself, you can consider some of these security measures. So uh, despite okay, is there sound? Okay. So just a little bit story. Despite the migration to cloud computing, security remains a shared responsibility, and I think you must have gone through that, whereby yeah, when you were getting introduced to cloud, uh, there was that mention that there is different. I mean, there is that shared responsibility when you're moving to cloud. So depending on what kind of service you'll be rating from the cloud provider. Maybe it's infrastructure service, platform service, software service. They still that kind of shared responsibility, especially when it comes to security. So what measures do you have when it comes to securing virtual instances in cloud? And virtual instances in this case, you can think of things like virtual machine scale sets, Windows virtual desktops, and yeah, there's so much computing services out there, but let's just try to imagine of this and how to secure them, particularly in Azure Cloud. So first off, we have the idea of using hardened images. And for those who don't know, maybe just to break it down to them, an image is what you saw. So for instance, when you get a blank, something like a blank laptop, it doesn't have any operating system installed on it. So by you suggesting that I want to install Linux this on this laptop or desktop, or maybe you want to go for Windows operating system that you are considering to install, that is what is called an image. Then hardening, you'll just learn in the process. Okay, so normally these images, so if we can just speak in terms of Microsoft Azure Cloud, users have three ways that they can provision okay, that they can get to deploy images. So first up, they can either choose, say, from the Microsoft provided marketplace. I'll show you that momentarily. So you can choose from Microsoft provided marketplace, and there are lots of images that are there. The other option is to choose from third party provided marketplace. So this is like you just going out to whatever third party marketplace that you feel comfortable with, and get an image from them. Maybe say it's like a Linux image, so long as something supported in this case Microsoft Azure. Then the other option is by you as the customer or user of Microsoft Azure, you coming up with their own image. So these images that you select, maybe having vulnerable binaries or even configurations that require patching or reconfiguration to just make sure that they are hardened. Hardening is actually you kind of tightening up on security. So if you have outdated binaries, these binaries may need to be patched if you have maybe an outdated operating system, because some of these updates they come up some of these operating system updates, they're there to help you fix some bugs, and ultimately, updates kind of help you, other than introducing new features in that operating system, maybe, or in that operating system that you may be using. The ultimate idea in most cases is to ensure that there is that security to the operating system or image that the user is using. So you really have to be careful where you're getting your images from. And actually, the best practice in this case that's recommended when it comes to cloud, particularly Microsoft Azure cloud in this case, is to make use of hardened images. And where can you get these images from? There's what we call Center for Internet Security, or CIS, and an alternative option for those who feel like they're developers and they can build their own image. You can do that with what we call Packer, or there's another one. There's another feature I forgot about it. But anyway, the easiest way for you guys to go about that is getting it from Microsoft provided marketplace. And that such a place is the Center for Internet Security. You have all these images there. You have Windows operating system, right, from that can support server, can support maybe Windows 10, 11. You have the major Linux distros. I don't think you'll find Kali Linux, but you'll have things like Ubuntu, Red Hat, um, the main ones actually are available online in Azure. That is. So that will be a first step to just make sure that you're using hardened images. The next thing that you can think of to just make sure that you ensure security of your virtual machine in cloud is protecting your virtual machines against viruses and malware. So, of course, these are just like any other machine that you could be using in person, not really in cloud. But the only key difference is that they are hosted elsewhere and provided as a cloud service. So ideally, I think you get the point. They are as well susceptible to malware attacks, to virus attacks, and for this reason, it's really recommended to make sure that you have something like an endpoint protection on your virtual machines. So maybe in the process as you'll be doing these assignments, you notice that you'll need to enable virtual machine. The endpoint protection for your, I think they're called workloads, but anyway, for your virtual machines. So users have two options to ensure, okay, two options to choose from when it comes to endpoint protection. Endpoint is just, you can think of it as, um, say, a service or compute service that interacts with the user. So that's what we call an endpoint. Something like your laptop is an endpoint device. And also these virtual machines, as much as they're in cloud, they're considered as endpoint services, kind of. So that's why you hear of endpoint protection. So that endpoint being protected. So you have two options that you can choose of. Choose from. One is using the free Microsoft anti-malware for Azure, and the second option is using, okay, not really using the free Microsoft anti-malware for Azure, but the two options are actually either you picking from Microsoft provided endpoint protection, or choosing a third-party solution. So there's no option of you, the consumer just using their own endpoint protection. Of course, I don't think there's anyone so far who has come up with their own endpoint protection solution. So in this case, we only have to rely on either Microsoft or third party, because those who are the ones who are kind of in the game to provide this endpoint protection. So as for Microsoft, we have one of their endpoint protection solution is the free Microsoft anti-malware for Azure, but there is a limitation to that, because you notice that it kind of tends to use the signature based way to detect viruses and these malwares. And signature based is not really the way to go, especially in current time, because a lot of these malwares, they are being tweaked. Just if you just tweak something a little bit, then that fingerprint that was there about the malware previously won't be able to work against it. So normally, um, uh, okay, let me try it. Normally, you'll have, like, say, a signature. A signature is like an ID of a malware. Sorry. Uh, Let me just, okay. A signature is like an ID of a malware. So that ID, say, will be equal to maybe, say, the low keyboard malware. I can't try it that well. So low keyboard. So you have a given ID, maybe have you seen how the MD5 code looks like once you've encrypted the maybe, say, your password? It produces a very quite a long string on that on whatever you encrypted. So just imagine that kind of string being the ID. So you may have 123B whatever as an ID for Lockybot. But then if those who came up with this Lockybot malware, they went inside and just tweaked some few things inside, then that means if you go back to maybe, say, hashing this malware, it won't produce the same ID that was used previously to identify it. And that's pretty much how the signature-based malware detection works. You need to have a fingerprint of it, or that signature of it, so that you can identify it. And yeah, so there's that limitation. Plus, the free Microsoft anti-malware for Azure does not support what you call EDR, or endpoint detection and response capabilities. So those two limitations does not favor the level of security that is desired from an endpoint protection solution. So because of that, Microsoft has the paid version of endpoint protection, and that is what we call Microsoft Defender for endpoint. And okay, I think it's called the name changed to Microsoft Defender for servers. Yeah, Microsoft Defender for servers. I'll need to correct it. So that is a paid kind of version of the endpoint protection when you're relying on Microsoft endpoint protection. Then in terms of the party security vendors, you have security vendors like, say, Palo Alto, you have Symantec, and something like Trend Micro. So I believe there are more, but these are like the key players when it comes to providing endpoint protection. And it also depends on I think it also depends on which services are supported. So services from Palo Alto are mostly supported in Microsoft Azure. So I think almost anything that you want to, as long as it's a service in Palo Alto in terms of security and such, you'll have it available in Azure as well. Yeah. So there's also we have a link. You'll find a link here to just maybe read more on Microsoft Defender for endpoint. If it's not endpoint, then it should be Microsoft Defender for servers, because of late Microsoft did a number of changes to some of these features. So, for instance, what we used to call the Active Directory tenant changed to Microsoft Enter ID. So you need to be updated as well on that. Okay, so that is to do with VM protection against viruses and malware. Moving on, we have system update management. So update management is very crucial when it comes to protecting your operating system. As I mentioned earlier, other than maybe just uh, updating, say, your operating system because there are new features available with the updates that has been released. In most cases, these updates will be focused on fixing some bugs and just ensuring that the security of that whatever is being updated, that operating system, that service, it should ideally is to make that its security to be improved somehow. Yeah, and so that may sound easy, but the problem is when it comes to managing these updates, it's a bit tricky because in most cases the updates are a bit frequent and they come quickly. So ideally, you can't predict when an update will be coming or will be coming up. So maybe if you're to try and manage all this manually, you can imagine that you are maybe an administrator, a cloud administrator, and you're supposed to maybe update your virtual machine instance for for the organization. Uh, at some maybe the updates came up and you're out on leave. So you can see there could be a problem there because if you fail to catch up with these updates, then there might be a vulnerability that was discovered in the systems or whatever service that you're running. And that's because you never really updated their services. Uh, that failure was actually a cause for your services being attacked. So you really need to be up to date with these updates. And to help with that, to avoid all that manual hassle to update your systems, Microsoft Azure has what we call Azure automation that we can make use of to just what is this to update our systems, for instance, Windows and Linux virtual machines, in good time whenever these updates are released. So currently, actually, under Azure automation, what you'll be using is called Azure Update Manager. So previously, what was being used is Azure automation management solution, and this one is kind of getting deprecated because things change. So the one that is recommended to be used is Azure Update Manager because Azure Automation Update Manager, was using it was using Azure Log Analytics Agent, also known as Microsoft Monitoring Agent or MMA, and this is getting retired in August. So the Azure Log Analytics Agent is getting retired in August 2024. So the recommendation right now, or the advisory that is being given by Microsoft, is that people should migrate to using Azure Update Manager, this one, and not the old Azure Automation Update Management. So there's a link right here in case you want to just figure out more on this on the update management tool, or I mean update management tool or solution in Microsoft Azure. So if you had to configure it on your virtual machine instance, what you'll need to do is going to log into your Microsoft Azure profile, or what others may call account. Then right here, just right here, you can input this one, Azure Update Manager. Then the next step will to click on getting started, and you have the details right here how to go about it. So those are the details. Okay, sorry. Okay, the next step is to implement vulnerability assessment for virtual machines. So, so far you've gone through just making sure that you're using hardened images. You made sure that uh, your operating system being updated in good time. What else? Why is it escaping me? Yeah, you've installed the endpoint protection on your virtual machine instance. So everything is running okay. But then in the process, you need to do vulnerability assessment for your virtual machines because you never know when is it that your machine may turn out to be your machine or instance may turn out to be vulnerable to whatever identified vulnerability that is out there in the public domain, or at least in the knowledge of hackers or attackers. So it's always good to do vulnerability assessment, especially in regular intervals. So depending on what favors you, the time period, uh, or actually the time intervals. Maybe you could do vulnerability assessments weekly. Uh, Really, it needs to be regular and not after so long. So it's just a key measure to take. Make sure that you do vulnerability assessment on your virtual machines instances. And for this, we can make use of what you call Microsoft Defender. And under Microsoft Defender, we have, oh, sorry. So it is in this case that we are, this where we have Microsoft Defender for servers. So this is what will help you to do the vulnerability assessment for virtual machines. So the other one is still remains when it comes to endpoint protection. It just remains to be I think it's Microsoft Defender for endpoints. Then Microsoft Defender for servers is what will help you to do the vulnerability assessment. So behind the scenes, this Microsoft Defender for servers actually for it to do the vulnerability assessment, it uses feature called policies. Actually, it's technology, so it's called policies, and that is what will do the vulnerability assessment. Then after it kind of takes the logs. Okay, I'm not sure how it works that clearly, but it kind of takes like I'm thinking it's kind of like a snapshot of your virtual machine instance. Then pull that clone or whatever logs from your virtual machine instance, put it in a sandbox, then start assessing that instance within that sandbox environment to just see if you have any sort of vulnerabilities on it. Then after doing all that, it will return the feedback back to Microsoft Defender for Cloud, which was previously called Security Center. So at that point, you as the user, you'll get what you call, it will return, the feedback will be in the form of recommendations, ideally telling you that, okay, this needs to be fixed, this one is okay. Ideally, that should be the thing. I think you'll be implementing this. So you'll see those recommendations. They are called actionable recommendations because you can actually click on these recommendations and remediate where it needs remediations. Ideally, you'll be fixing where it needs to be fixed. Yeah, so the Microsoft Defender for servers can actually be extended to your Windows and Linux machines in other environments. So not only in Azure, but in AWS as well, Google Cloud Platform, and on-premises environment as well. So you can see the strength in it. Then It can also integrate, that is Microsoft Defender for servers, can as well integrate with Microsoft Defender for endpoint. So this is the endpoint solution. So you can integrate with it and also integrate with the EDR protection features. So EDR is just endpoint detection response protection. So there's a link as well. You can check it out at your free time once I upload the slides. So to land on Microsoft Defender for Cloud in Azure, see the same process. We have the search box over here. Just search, type in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. You'll notice this icon. The next step will be, so if you want to enable it, well, if you want to enable that Microsoft Defender for servers, you need to come down to the cloud security section, then go down to workload protection, and this is the next stop over here. So you can see it's indicated right here. It's indicated maybe I'm talking about this point here. It's indicated VM vulnerability assessment. So you'll click there, then you'll just get you'll see where you'll need to enable you'll need to enable the server option. It should be one of the top options. You need to enable it in to make sure that the vulnerability assessment is on. Uh, yeah, okay. The next step when it comes to virtual machine protection is to make sure that your disks are encrypted. So before we even encrypt our operating okay, our disks, those are you taking the measure to encrypt your disk personally. Before you go towards that point, Microsoft itself, Microsoft Azure itself encrypts the disk at rest, and that's a good measure, but it won't really protect you from, say, adversaries. So these are maybe people who are insiders that are there within the company, and they have access to your virtual machine, for instance. So it won't really protect against these people, because they are the same people, because they have access to the virtual machines. They can easily log into those virtual machines and take a snapshot of the disks that are there, and mount it elsewhere to see what was stored in that disk, because it never had any encryption. So to avoid that, and actually to improve on our level of disk encryption, other than relying on the encryption address that Microsoft Azure offers, you can do what we call volume level disk encryption. And for this, we use a feature or a solution in Azure that is called Azure Disk Encryption. There's a number of disk encryption solutions in Azure, but this one is particularly for you can think of it for virtual machine instances. So you can use that solution to encrypt your virtual machine instance disk. And this solution itself, Azure Disk Encryption, uses, in terms of Linux, it will be using what you call the decrypt feature. And in terms of Windows, it will be using the BitLocker feature. And I think some of you might have interacted with BitLocker in Windows, because most people use Windows. If you're interested in learning more, because I think it's also good to know what is encryption at rest, what is volume encryption, what is encryption in transport, and all that. There is a video. Let me just see if I can get here. So uh, make YouTube your friend. Let me say disk encryption. And I hope you guys can see that I changed my presentation to Google Chrome. Where is it? Okay, give me a moment. Let me just see where it is because I think it's something that you guys should be able to understand. Okay, I think I found it. Okay, so I'll go back to sharing my screen. I hope you guys can see my screen. Someone to confirm?
Yes, we can.
Okay, it is. Okay, so when you go to YouTube, you can search for blended learning in the liberal arts. Then come down to the playlist section over here. Then under the playlist section, just this is the video that you'll be looking for right here. Data security with encryption. So it's a playlist of 6 videos, but they are very, very short. It's like 3 minutes tops. So you can easily watch these videos in like 20 minutes or so. It will help you to understand the kinds of encryptions that are there. So encryption at rest, volume encryption, disencryption, encryption in encryption in I think in movement or what, but in transport I think. But there are a number of encryptions, and you'll need to understand them when you're venturing into cloud. Okay, so that is to do with encryption. So as I was saying, the Azure Disk Encryption solution itself makes use of decrypt feature in Linux and BitLocker feature when it comes to Windows. Then once it has encrypted all these, there's that, of course, the encryption key. So that encryption key will be stored in Azure Key Vault. There's what we call Azure Key Vault, and it's kind of there to manage the keys. So they say that the user is using their own hardware management. What is it called? Is it HMAS? It's hardware management something that the user can choose to use, or you can go for the default one, which is Azure Key Vault. So there is no charges to using the disk encryption feature, but there is a charge when it comes to using the Azure Key Vault itself. So just know that. And finally, the last thing that you need to do when it comes to one of the major last major things that you need to do when it comes to virtual machine security is just securing the management pods. So normally we have what you call, say, management plane, control plane, and data plane. So management plane is really like where you you as the administrator or you as the user in charge uh, can issue your commands from. So for instance, if you want to configure something like say in a virtual machine, you'll be using you can choose to use that the management ports, and it's through that management ports that you'll be interacting with the management plane to make your configuration. So these are not these ports are not the type of ports that you want them open to the public internet. So for this reason, it's always just best to make sure that, for instance, when you have in Windows operating system, make sure that the RDP or the remote desktop protocol port is shut down. I think that is on port 389. Then if you're using Linux, make sure that the SSH port on port 22 is also shut down. And of course, you may over time you may need to make use of these ports just to maybe do your configurations here and there. And for this reason, it could take you it could really take you some time to go into the what you call the NSGs, network security groups, to start configuring that you want to allow say the RDP port 389 to say log into your virtual machine. So to avoid all that manual work, you can use what we call just-in-time virtual machine access, or JIT. So when you're using just-in-time virtual machine access, you'll set it up or to be functional or available to that machine, such that when you need to now use these management points, like say the RDP or SSH, what you now need to do is just request access. Uh, there's how you request access. I'm sure you'll be doing that in one of the assignments. So there's how you go to the connect feature in Microsoft Azure and request to connect to a virtual machine. Then once you request to connect to that virtual machine, it will do the work for you. It will go into that NS0 and just say, okay, it will change the configuration such that it will allow you to use either maybe the RDP or SSH port for a given number of time. I mean, for a given period of time, maybe just 3 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour, depending on your configuration. Then as well, you can set other things like say the IP address that is allowed, um, the type of maybe the type of traffic that should be allowed. Is it HTTP or HTTPS? But it's always good to use HTTPS. So yeah, that is just the thing with just-in-time VM access. It helps to manage these management ports without you going through the hassle of doing it manually. It will do it. It will do the job for you once you request access to it. So to set it up, you'll need to search for Microsoft Defender for Cloud, as you saw when you are trying to enable the vulnerability assessment feature. So search for Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Then once you've searched for that, that is in the in the box itself at the top section right here. You'll get what we call, they're normally called blades. All this, like this entire window that you see here, the screenshot is called a blade in Microsoft Azure. So once you get into that Microsoft Defender for Cloud blade, the next thing to do will be to navigate to the environment setting. I showed you that when we were about to set vulnerability assessment. Okay, I must have confused somewhere. But anyway, you'll need to go to the environment setting. Then under environment setting, this is now the environment setting blade. You need to come down to the settings section, and under settings, choose defender plans. Then under defender plans, you need to enable this servers option, toggle it to on. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. Unless you guys have a question, we should stop there and continue in the evening session. Let me just take a call here. Hello. Okay. Ngoja kidogo. Yeah, Martin. Sorry.
I was asking about the initiation. Will it be a continuation or just a repeat of the what you have covered?
It should be a continuation. I think you must have noticed that we are still remaining with the section on containers. So we'll cover that in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah. That please just talk. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who's raising his or her hand. Just talk. Just talk. I'll listen.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
Yeah, mine is just an inquiry on the upcoming midterm. What's
Yeah.
the coverage?
The
Like up
average.
to the cover.
Oh, the coverage. It will be on networking. It won't be. I don't. It won't be anything on cloud.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Grace.
Okay, good morning.
Hi.
My question is about the week 6 assignment about the Cisco Cloud Security
Yeah.
registration.
Uh-huh.
I'm clicking on the link, then it is not taking me anywhere. It say it cannot be found.
Cisco.
Yes, this the week 6 assignment about registering.
I'll need to see a screenshot on that.
Okay, I also sent the email, then no response.
Okay, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure about who is in charge there, but it may take a while before someone gets back to you. But maybe you can just find me later, then I can look at the screenshot, or send me the screenshot on WhatsApp so that I can share it with someone who is in charge.
Okay, or can I share my screen because I'm right there?
Okay. Hello.
The coming exams, if we will be the Linux, if they will be providing the Linux. I've tried.
Okay. There is an issue with your sound.
I'm saying that in the coming exam,
Yeah.
maybe we'll be required to use Linux. Will they provide the terminal? Because my end, I've tried all means to run the machine, but it's impossible.
Let me see. Is there anything really on Linux? TCP. I'll need to find out about that. I don't think at the moment I don't think there's anything on Linux. I don't think there's anything on Linux. You can really work with the Windows virtual machine. I mean, you can just work with the Windows operating system. Sorry.
Even the final.
Huh? Even the final? No, the final. I don't know about the final one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. Just a moment. Yeah, I can see your screen.
Okay, while I click the link, it takes me here. The site can't be reached.
Which? Can you just click on the link again? Which site?
The week 6 assignment about Cisco Cloud Security Specialist account registration.
I think you are, how should it? You have to set up your own account. You can just navigate to, just type in netacard. Netacard.org. I think it's netacard. Just type in your browser, netacard, that is NET, then acad, like the short version for academy. So netacard, just search that, then you need to sign up for an account there.
Then I find the course there.
Yeah, first sign up for an account under netacard, then you can pick it from there. There should be a course on offer.
Because I had already signed even to the Skills for All. Then I was trying to search for the course, I did not find it.
It's not Skills for All. Skills for All will take you somewhere else. Just sign up for netacard.
Okay.
Yeah, once you logged into netacard, there is how you can check for courses that are available to you. Then you'll need to enroll to whatever is available to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I still see a hand up. Just talk, please. All right. So I think it was a false one. Anyway, maybe just to show you and how to launch up a virtual machine in Azure. So I'm not sure if I'm still sharing my screen. No, I'm not sharing my screen. So you can stop sharing your screen. That is Grace. Okay, so you guys can see my screen, right?
Sorry, you meant I stopped sharing?
Yeah, you can just stop sharing your machine. Your screen. So to start with Microsoft Azure, what you'll need to do is you can type in portal.azure.com, and that will take you to Microsoft Azure website. Once you're there, okay, you'll need to have your own account. So for me, I have this one. I'll be using this. So I'll sign in. So after you're here, the next thing to do, if say you want to, what is it? If you want to spin up a virtual machine or at least deploy a virtual machine, you have different ways of going about that. You can just at the top here, you can search for virtual machine, and you can see the option is right here. So you just click on it. Alternatively, you can at the left section over here, you have these I think they're called ellipses or what. You can click on the three dashes to give you more options. Then under this, you have a straight shortcut to creating virtual machine. This option over here, virtual machines. If not that, you can as well work with this option right here, create a resource. So you have two options under this pane. So you can click on virtual machines down here, or you can go for create a resource there. So if you click on create a resource, it will take you to what we call the marketplace, Microsoft Azure Marketplace. And you can see here, so from the name here, popular marketplace products. So this is just basically the marketplace. And from here, now you can do your search from this box over here. Is for those who are still trying to follow my mouse, Microsoft, this is the box I'm talking about. And when I say about that this is marketplace, this is the name marketplace products. You can see it there. So you can if it is whatever you're searching is not showing up here, you can just type in that box virtual machine, and it will start giving you some contextual results or options. For instance, for us, we want virtual machine. So I'll click on virtual machine. So once you're here, the next thing to do is now actually select which service you want. So I think it could have been easier if we just selected virtual machine directly there, but anyway, this is how to navigate. So this is what we're looking for. The first option over here is what we're looking for. And you can see that we have a little description about this Azure service. So for instance, Azure virtual machines provide on-demand, high-scale, secure, and virtualized infrastructure using either Linux or Windows operating system. Oh, by the way, virtual machines are what we call infrastructure service in cloud. So just know that we have virtual machines, and we'll be looking at virtual, not virtual, but virtual machines, virtual machine desktops. Okay, no, virtual desktops. Then we have virtual machine scale sets. Those are all infrastructure services. Then we have also platform as service. We'll look at that later. But anyway, so let's just click on virtual machine, or you can click on create here. So you have our option to create a virtual machine. I'll click on create. Maybe you can review even the plans, usage information, and all that if you have the time. So to create one, what you need to do is you need to have a subscription. So if you don't have a subscription, you can't create any. So your subscription, in most cases, because you'll just be having a single subscription, will be automatically selected. So for me, that is it right here. That's my subscription. And then the next thing is to choose a resource group. So if I just click on this arrow or on this box over here to give me an at least the available options of the resource groups that I have so far. Because maybe you may be new to Microsoft Azure, you won't be having anything, so you won't see all these options. Maybe you'll just see the default resource group. For instance, this default resource group is US. For that's what you may see. But anyway, what you'll need to do if you're new, you'll just need to click on create new resource group. So resource group, what you can think of it is this is a logical container. So everything is a logical container, and everything you create, so it will be a container right there. So everything you create will be inside it. So we'll be looking at VNets, uh, VNets. We have virtual machines, so much more that you'll be creating. Whatever resources that you'll be creating will all be kind of bundled within these resource groups. So there's different ways of organizing your resource groups, maybe based on the service. So maybe you can choose to have a resource group for your VNets. You can choose to have a resource group for your virtual machines. But anyway, without getting into all the complications, let's just create a simple resource group. So I'll click on create, then I'll give it a name. I can say maybe call this my resource group. So after that, I just need to click on OK. It's not that hard. Then virtual machine name. So if you're not sure, or maybe you just forgot what this all this well, how can I call it? All these fields are about. So for instance, virtual machine name, you can just hover your mouse, your cursor. On top of that hazard-like icon. Hover your cursor there, then it will give you a description of what's required of you at that point. So virtual machine name, this like just the name of your virtual machine. I think we can call this. I'll try to just bring up Windows 10. Windows 10 VM. So that's what I'll call it. Then as for the region, you can pick whatever region is closest to you. So in most cases, we just tend to use East US. I'll leave that as default. Then availability options, I don't need any sort of availability. I think I mentioned this when you're talking about virtual machines in the slides. So there are different options when it comes to availability. You can pick availability zones. You can pick availability. Okay, other than availability zones, you can pick virtual machine scale sets. You can pick availability sets. So all those have their different meaning. Maybe just to talk of availability zone. If you see this description here, it says physically separate your resources within an Azure region. So how it goes is normally these services are hosted within a data center. So this could be a first data center. And that data center has the networking resources, it has the servers, it has whatever, everything that should be running in a data center. Then we have another, maybe this is a data center in within Nairobi, but of course, like say Nairobi has different areas as well. So we can be having maybe a data center in Nairobi CBD, then another data center in maybe Upper Hill. So this now, this could be taken as the availability zones. You can choose to maybe this is availability zone 1, this is availability zone 2. So that's the idea behind availability zone. Then availability, what was there? Virtual machine skill set. So this one says distribute VMs across zones and uh, fault domains at scale. So virtual machine skill sets actually create the same copy. Okay, you like say if you had to come up with a Windows 10 machine, you get that you get a Windows 10 operating system or image. Then with the virtual machine skill set, it will give you a number of copies of the same machine. So it will give you a number of copies of Windows 10, Windows 10, Windows 10, depending on how many sets that should be available. And this is actually helpful when it comes to auto scaling. You can try to look that up. Then availability set, this now like the manual way of going about auto scaling. So this will auto scale automatically, but availability set is not really will not really auto scale. Okay, it won't auto scale because you'll have to do the scaling kind of manually. But there is that difference. Anyway, so I can select no infrastructure redundancy required. Just to make sure that you're not paying so much for the virtual machine instance. Then security type, you can leave this as default, trusted launch virtual machine. Then image, so this is where you can pick your image. So you can click on see all images or configure VM generation. So I think an easy one would be to click on see all images. And this will take you to the marketplace once again, as you notice here. So right here, just a moment. Yeah, so right here you have what's available for usage, and we have Windows Server image, we have Microsoft Windows 10 image, Windows 11. You can see the Linux distros. We have Ubuntu. Okay, I see we have Kali Linux now. We have Kali Linux. We have CentOS. You also have Oracle somewhere, I think. But there's so much more inside here that you can pick from. So for us, I think we'll just go with Windows 10 because that's what we have to configure. So I'll take the Windows 10 and this will give you more information on plans. Just so much detail inside here. Ratings and review, but there is so much more inside here. So I'll close up open and to select it. This select Windows 10. Let me just go with this one. The Pro generation 1. Then virtual machine architecture, the selected security type. Okay, and it seems like I need to, there's an error here. I need to change the image type. So let me see, recommended generation compile. Okay, these are the recommended ones. So I'll look for this and I'll select this one. I hope it will work. So that's okay. Then VM architecture, in most cases, you'll just work with the x64 based. Then run with Azure Spot Discount. So Spot Discount is whereby you as a consumer, cloud consumer, or you as a user who's trying to set up your services in cloud, you can say maybe reach out to a cloud provider like Microsoft Azure and just tell them that, okay, I need to reserve a number of machines so that I can use them for my whatever computing services. So if you go with that approach, ideally they may choose to give you a number of server hardware that are not in use. So normally you at the data center. Okay, this is not going. Normally at the data center, you could have this is your data center. So within the data center, you have the server hardware there, another server hardware, another one, another one. There's so much more inside. So from these server hardwares that are there, these are actually what people are using. In most cases, people will be sharing these hardwares. So you may find that maybe the cloud provider has already list this out, these 4 virtual machines. The cloud providers list these 4 server hardwares, and they are being used already. So these at the top here are the remaining virtual server hardwares that are not being used. So you can approach the cloud provider and say that, okay, could you just help? Could I like make use of these 3 virtual machines and I'll be using them for like the next 3 years or for the next 1 year, depending on the time, that is the supported time and the time that you feel like you'll be using, because you can say that I want to use that spot discount for like 6 months, but the cloud provider does not support 6-month duration. So you may have like 1 year duration to choose from. So ideally, you'll choose from those unused from those unused server hardwares. Then the cloud provider will give it to you at now spot discount, because you kind of selected that. Okay, not really selected, but you kind of agreed that I'll be using this number of server hardwares for this time, and that way they'll give you a discount, because it's always good to have someone customer who will be there with you for a long time, unlike someone who comes and goes. So that's the rest of us. But spot discount is whereby you kind of make arrangement to be using the compute services for maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, up to how long, depending on what's supported. So that's the idea. So you don't need to select that because you won't be using the spot discount. You don't need to check that, and it's not even required. Then the size, this one you can tweak it because of financial reasons. So normally, if you sign up for the free subscription, it will give you, I think it's $200 in credit. So to make sure that you don't deplete your 200 credits so soon, make sure you try to just minimize on the compute services that you're leasing, you're renting from the cloud. So if we were to go for a size like this one, standard, this is standard V3 with 4 CPUs, 16 GB, 16 GB of memory. You can see the price is like $140 per month. Then this other one is $153. Sorry, it's $53. So I'll just go for the cheaper one because we're not really making use of this virtual machine to do anything crucial. So it's always good to select something cheap, especially when you're trying this. You're just doing your trial and error tests in the cloud. Then the username is you can think of this like now you and you're setting up your laptop. Say you're doing a new installation of one operating system. It will ask you who's going to use this machine. So you may some people may choose to give it to input their name at that point. So maybe a name like Brian, and then it will ask you for a username, a password later. So you can see the criteria that needs to be matched. Username cannot contain a special character in that. Usernames must not include reserved words. Then the value must be between 1 and 20 characters. So we have some reserved words like I'll show you when we get to networking. We have some reserved words in cloud. But anyway, make sure it's something that you can remember as well. So maybe just say Windows 10. I think that is okay. So that will be our username. Then the password now is what will be required after. It's a combination of username and password to log in. So password, let me just say Windows 10. Sorry. Three of the following lowercase. Okay. Okay. So that's my password. Then the next thing to set is the inbound port rules. And this is where you are. By setting this up, you'll be setting your network security group rules. So for us, we are going to allow the RDP ports 389 so that you can just access the virtual machine when we'll be making that RDP connection to it. Then you can check this. I confirm I have an eligible Windows 10 /11 license. Then the next thing you can pretty much just click on review plus create at this point. It will do everything for you. And then if you need to tweak some other more settings like say the disk section, the networking, you can just click on this next. Then it will take you to now setting up the disk this properties. So you have two ways of getting there. Close that. Okay. Then so in terms of the disk, you can see you have the option to encrypt at the host level, and so encryption at host is not registered for the selected subscription. That's just something with this. Some of these encryptions you need to kind of register them in a different way. So you can ignore that because you're not even required, because you're just testing a virtual machine deployment. Then operating system disk size, you can remain with the default one. Right here is where you can tweak it because of the cost issues. So operating system disk type, you can change it from maybe SSDs are kind of expensive. So I can just go for the standard hard disk HDD because these hard disk drives are a bit they're a bit cheaper compared to SSDs. Then delete with VM. So like ideally delete the disk with the VM once you're deleting the VM. That should be checked. At least it will help you to easily manage the VM once you're deleting it, other than deleting the VM deleting the VM independently, then trying to find out where the hard disk is to delete it. Then key management, that's not necessary. Yeah, so we're done with that part. We can go into networking. So as for networking, we'll get to networking later. So right now, what you can do is just leave everything as default, and you can see there is networking still sticks everywhere you go when you're thinking of IT. So it's just best to understand networking, because in cloud it's a little bit challenging at first to understand it, but so long you have that good grasp of networking, then you can understand. You can try to apply that knowledge in cloud as well. It will be easier that way. So just leave everything as default. I won't go into much details of networking. It will just confuse you guys. Yeah, so network security group is just basic. Public inbound ports is the allowed one, 389. Don't set anything here. Delete public IP and NIC when VM is deleted. You can check on that. And then there's the idea of the balancing. We won't get into that at this point. So it's not even necessary because we're just loading up a single instance, virtual machine instance. So that's selected to none. Then let's go to management and let's see what's there. Okay, so let me plug in my file. Some of it. That's okay. So under management, for you guys, this option may be off. Microsoft Defender for Cloud, it may be off because you may need to okay, not it's not really you may need, but because you'll be using Microsoft Azure Cloud for the first time, it will just be off. You can, if it's off, you can leave it as off because you're just testing the deployment of your of a virtual machine instance. But with time, one of the upcoming assignments, I know you'll be configuring Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So that's like the security mission. You can see the details right here. Microsoft Defender for Cloud provides unified security management and advanced threat protection across hybrid cloud workloads. So my subscription, I already enabled this Microsoft Defender for plan. I mean, my Microsoft Defender for Cloud plan. The next thing, you can ignore identity, Azure AD. You can ignore that. This is something you can set, especially if maybe you'll be working in your on your assignments and you have a problem, maybe say with your internet. So it's yeah, it happens that maybe at this time you have your internet, then something happens to your internet, so it's not available or anymore, and you may have to wait till the next day for your internet to be back on for you to be back online. So, and also maybe if it's something to do with power, maybe you're not using your laptop is not your laptop is not working. The battery is not okay in good condition. So in case power goes off, then your laptop also goes off. So you can enable this auto shutdown so that you can always maybe just shut down your virtual machine instance at a given time. So maybe 7 p.m. Then you can set the time zone right here. So for us, it should be Nairobi. Yeah, is that Nairobi? That is it. So you can check this to notify whatever email address that you'll be using before the shutdown is before the shutdown is executed. And yeah, because this is a good measure to take, because if you even forget to shut this machine by yourself, this will help you. Because if you let it keep on running, for instance, if the virtual machine just runs for a single day, then you'll notice that yeah, credit, the free credit that you'll be having will be kind of really used up. So it's something you can do to just save on the credit that you have it. Then backup, don't worry about that. Guest operating system updates. This one you can ignore it for now. Then next thing is monitoring. So this is not something to worry about. You will look at this when we get to Microsoft Sentinel. So you can skip that. Then advanced section. Select an extension to install. So we have a number of extensions that we can install right from third-party extensions. You can just click on select an extension to install to see what kind of extensions you have. There's so much more. So you can see one API is agent for cloud workload protection. This seems to be from Semantic. There's so much more extensions here depending on what they do. So it's just the same way you can try to install more applications in your, what is it called, in your actual PC. So these extensions will help you with that. Then VM applications. So you can as well choose to install a virtual machine application, but don't worry about that section. And even actually you're not configuring anything at this point. Then the final thing would be tags, and this will just help you to maybe kind of group your resources. So maybe you can say you can come up with a name tag that virtual machines. So then the value will be Windows operating system. And if you're to launch maybe another virtual machine instance, maybe it's a Linux one, you know, maybe input the name tag to identify it as a virtual machine, then you'll name it Linux, depending on what you prefer. But name tags, you can just read more on that on name tags. Then finally, you can click on review plus create. So this may take a while, depending on your internet speed as well as how busy Microsoft Azure is. I think I also needed to show you something when it comes to, let me see if I can duplicate that. So you can see validation pass, and once the validation has passed, then you're okay. You can just click on create. But if validation fails, then just know there's something. You notice there's an X somewhere here where you need to go back and just check. Maybe there's a missing detail that you never input. So the next thing is to just click on create. Then it will deploy the virtual machine for you. Your job is almost like done there. So let me just go to Microsoft Enter ID. Then under Microsoft Enter ID, what does I show you? Oh yeah, setting up MFA. So the deployment is in progress. You can click on this notification icon up there to see any sort of notification. So we can just let this to run. It may take a while. It's about 11:14. Maybe it will be done by 11:20, hopefully. Yeah, so there's something about MFA I was to let you guys know. Yeah, so we can go, if you go down to, I think it's security, then geez, should be identity protection. It's not that. No, it's not really there. For you guys, I think some of you may have already set up the virtual, not really virtualization, but what you call MFA, multi-factor authentication. But if you've not set it up, just know it's a good idea to set it up, because some of these assignments that you'll be doing, you may get somewhere where you need to make some changes to the identity management thing, and you may find yourself shutting yourself outside your own account, and Microsoft will not be able to help you in good time. So what you need to do is just make sure you've set up multi-factor authentication on your account. So for Azure, Microsoft Azure, or you'll go to my sign-ins. If you just type in my sign-ins, something like my sign-ins.microsoft.com, this link right here. Or if you're blank, just type in my sign-ins Microsoft. So this is how it looks like. This is the result that you'll be looking for. This one right here. So you'll need to click on that link, my sign-ins. Then it will redirect you to somewhere. Okay, this is about registering. I think this is it, security info. So my sign-ins.microsoft.com security info. I copy this and just share it here in the chat. I'm not sure if mine will load because I'm using a dummy account. Not there. Trying to copy this to the chat. So I've attached the link to my sign-ins in the chat, the meeting chat. So just make sure that after this session, please go to that link and set up your MFA. Someone can just navigate to that link, then they'll share their screen so that I can show you what to do when you get there. I don't think this will load because this is a dummy profile, so I don't think it will load. But ideally, you need to go down to is it security info password? One of these. Someone to navigate to it. Once the person is ready, I'll show you where to go to. Let's see if this is done. So the deployment is still in progress. It has taken 3 minutes so far. We'll need to give it some more time. Is there any volunteer who's willing? Celestine, are you the one? Are you willing to navigate to that site, to that link so that I can show you what to do? Anyone to just share their screen? I'll stop sharing. So long you have a Microsoft Azure account, just share a screen. It's something that will help you. Even if it's not for this account, so long you're just using a Microsoft account, you need to set that MFA. And I think that is pretty much the very same place you go to set every sort of MFA. So as Maureen tries and we are waiting for a link to finalize on the loading, someone else can just try to navigate to the site and see if their profile will be able to load. Try to click on passwords. They do the same thing. Okay, you need to go back. Just hit the left arrow to go back. I don't know why it behaves like this sometimes. An alternative is, let's do this. Maureen. Is this Maureen or is it who is presenting?
Yeah, it's me.
Can you go back to your Microsoft Azure portal? Just go back, then click on the 3 dashes on the left section, the 3 dashes to give you more options. Then go down to Microsoft Enter ID. And under Microsoft Enter ID, what you'll need to do is scroll down to security on the left section. No, the left to your left. Yeah, scroll down. Just use your scroll if you have a mouse. Go down to security. So under properties we have security. on the left side, that is, you can see license, cross tenant. You have properties and security. Click on security. Then under security, just go down to authentication methods. Okay, sorry. Then go down to monitoring. Good. Okay, not really down, but on the left section, go down to password protection, I think. Can you just click on password protection? It's not really the one. Click on authentication string. Okay, go to. How about settings? Am I lost? Okay, I'm missing it. Just a moment. Let me try it on my side. Sometimes I get confused in navigating this. Anyway, I think my deployment is complete as well. Give me a moment as I try to figure out where I should be going to. Security. Settings. Okay. Just give me a moment. I'm still trying to see where that is. Six. Okay, it should be authentication method. Where is it? Oh, I forgot. I was going to the wrong tab. So in the right place, but in a different place. So just go back to how you can navigate back is if you look at the almost the top left section where you have home, default directory, security. So those are kind of like links. You can just click next to authentication. Actually, click on default directory. Click on default directory. And then yeah, you should be looking for users. It should be at the top on the left side section, but at the top, somewhere at the top. Yeah, click on users. So now you'll select you personally. You have a smartphone, right?
Yes.
Okay, just
Yes.
click on your name there, Maureen Miruri. Okay, the name itself. Click on the name itself. Then right there where you are, you can do this. Just go down to there should be on the left side, you have authentication methods. Then have you set up MFA already?
Not yet.
So if you had set it up, but then you lost your previous device, or maybe you're thinking of maybe just setting up MFA once again, what you can do is you can click on maybe the top section. You can click on require register multi-factor authentication, or you can click on maybe if it's something to do with your password, you can say reset password. So as for you, because you've not set up, this one reads different, but it could be reading something like, yeah, it should be reading require register re-register MFA. So it's still the same thing. What you can do is just log out. Before you log out, yeah, just log out. Then let's see if it will require to set up MFA. I'll show you how to go about that. Click on the right hand side. On the right, yeah, click on that icon. Then there'll be an option to sign out. Sign out. Then you try to sign back in. Let's see if it will require to input to set up MFA. So just click on that user Maureen. Then provide your password there. Sign in. Let's see if it will require to set up MFA. Okay, click on yes. Okay. Why is it not requesting you? It should. Can you go back to my sign-ins? The tab, on the last tab. No. There's a tab, my signings dot where we started my signings. Next to next to the Microsoft Azure tab, you have my signings tab at the top. Okay, it's loading.
It's not my internet. It's the issue with the
No, it's
site.
it's not your internet. It behaves like this sometimes. I don't know why. Yeah. I wish I could have shown that to you. Let me just let me wind up on a virtual machine deployment so that I can think straight. Share my screen now.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the notification panel. You can see that my deployment is now over. So once the deployment is over, you can just click on go to resource from here, or in the main screen itself, you can see there will be an option for go to resource unless you navigate it that way. So I'll click on go to resource, then click OK. So this is the Windows 10 VM itself that we are setting up, and I'm in the overview blade right here. So this is like just the details about the VM. You can think of this like the properties, how you go to check the properties of your machine. So resource group, status is running, its location, ECUAs. But anyway, what you're looking for is, oh, by the way, you can change the view into the JSON file view if you're interested. But anyway, what you're looking for is to make connection to it. If we try to make connection using this public IP, it won't happen. So if I just copy the public IP, if I hit enter, you notice that it says this site is not secure. Even if you click continue to site, you keep on loading forever, it won't go. So how to make connection to it is unless there's a way you configure the public okay, there is a way, of course, you can configure that access through the public IP, but anyway, the ideal way to connect to it is you click on this connect right here. You have this option at the top here. You can click on that, or alternatively, you can come here, connect. So any of the two options will just take you to the same place. So I'll click on connect. Then so we'll be using you can see we have the option to connect using a public IP address, but then that is not allowed because we'll be using the web browser, and of course that uses HTTPS, and we did not enable that HTTPS connection. So we only enabled connection through port 80, port 389. So for that, you need to scroll down a little bit. Then there's this option most common. So ideally we'll just be using a DP connection. We'll click on select. Things have changed, but there you'll notice in the assignments, this interface looks different somehow. But anyway, it's just a matter of clicking select. Then you don't have to configure anything. What you just need to do is scroll down a little bit, and there's this option to download the RDP file. So once you click on download the RDP file, it will be downloaded in no time. It's just as a tiny file. Then it's not necessary. Okay, you can navigate where it is, but ideally once you get there, let me just go there. So this is the file itself. I'll just double click on it to run it, and I'll say connect. Then right here, it will ask you to connect using the default account that you're logged in with. So if you try to input the virtual machine password, you'll notice that the connection won't be going through because you're using a different username. So you need to click on more choices. It's this point here. So click on more choices. Then select use a different account right here. Then click OK. So you can see now I have the option to input a username and password. So can I even remember the username? In case you forgot your username, you can come back to the overview blade over here. Then what you're looking for is let me just try to search for name. I'll say name. Okay. I have 1 out of 4 results. Here's the next one. So computer name, Windows 10 VM, image name. Give me a moment. There's a computer name, DNS name. Image of done. I think it was Windows 10. User. Let me see if okay. I'm not sure if we have the option there for username, but at least I think I remember mine. So I'll just say Windows 10. And the password was we have this is the correct details. So you can see it's connecting to that virtual machine instance. Then I'll click on yes. So it will use that public IP address on port 389 to connect to it. And right now we have connection to the virtual machine. So it will kind of set it up like a fresh installation. So I'll just try to minimize the screen. So the virtual machine is still trying to load in the background. I'll minimize that to
Why? Yeah.
So at this point, you can just set up your virtual machine like any other machine. Just check everything off. Then I'll say accept. And you can see there we have it. We have virtual machine instance in cloud. So that's so if I click on no, if I can just bring up the CMD, then I'll type in who is okay. Who am I? So if you type in who am I, you can see that we are using Windows 10. Then the user itself is Windows 10 as well. If I type in the IP config, see the IP address of this machine. So it will give me IP version 4 because of now I'm like in that cloud environment. But ideally we are making use of the public IP to access it. But once we are now inside that virtual machine, that virtual machine has that private IP allocated to it within that VNet, virtual network within Microsoft Azure. That's why you see this 10.0.0 IP, 10.0.0 IP address. We'll be talking more about IP, okay, not really IP, but networking in cloud. So I'll just close it. I don't need to use it. And yeah, that was it. So I can go back to my virtual machines. I'll just use the navigation pane over here to quickly go back to virtual machines. And at this point, the instance is in running. You can just see the state over here running. The next, what you want to do is you can choose to stop it. So you'll need to select the virtual machine, and you can choose to stop it from here, from this point. These are the buttons to stop it. Alternatively, you can choose to kill it. Okay, ideally, not kill it, but terminate it. So ideally, you'll be deleting it. So for that, you have more options. If you click these two, the ellipse dots, so you can choose to delete it from this point. Alternatively, you can go into it, Windows 10 virtual machine, and you have the buttons to delete, to stop, to restart it, save, and also to connect to it. So I'll just delete it from here. I don't need to stop here. I can delete it directly. So I'll need to check this, apply force delete for selected VM. Then you need to type in delete just for consensual need that you consent to it, then delete. So yeah, it will delete the virtual machine instance, and that way I would have saved on the credit that I have in my subscription. Because even if you just stop the virtual machine and let it, it won't be running in the background, but still remember your virtual machine has some resources allocated to it. So it has some CPU, RAM, disk space that is still allocated to it in that imagination that you as a user may come back at any time, and you need to boot up that virtual machine. So it has to kind of spare those resources for your virtual machine, and that way they'll charge you for it. So it's just good to, once you're done with it, delete it completely. And you can see that the execution was complete. Was successful. So succeeded 1, failed 0, cancelled 0. So that's just it. And if you're interested in deleting the resource group, you can click on resource group here. That's where I clicked. Then our resource group was this one, I think, my resource group. So for this one, I can just go into it. Okay, I think we have the option right here. Not really. So I'll just go into that resource group. I'll click on that link. Then I want to delete it. I'll say delete resource group. So when I delete the resource group, these are the things that will be deleted as well. So the virtual machine, network security group, and the VNet itself that we created when we are trying to deploy the virtual machine. So I'll say delete. I don't need to check this, by the way. So I'll just click on delete resource group. And it will ask you to enter the resource group name, just confirm the deletion that you're about to do. So you have a button here to easily copy the resource group. If not here, you can as well come and highlight this, then copy from there. But I think this is easy. So I'll just copy the resource group from this point here. This is the resource group name, and you have a button there. So copy that, paste it here, then I'll say delete. And it will load in the background. If there's anything that fails, it will let you know. You can just come back to the notification icon right here later and see if everything was successful. About my sign-ins, let me just I think I need to log in with the new just a moment. Let me see if I have a user so that I can show you, because it's really important that you set it up. Otherwise, some of you may lose your account and you start seeing that you're blocked from your account. Oh, but if you feel like dropping off the call, please feel free. I notice it's late. I've taken much of your time, but I hope to help you to understand something. I'm just trying to see if I have a user that I can use here. So, okay. Okay, so I think I got one. Amy. Try to log in with this user and see if it will require me to set up anything. All right, so I'll go back to sharing my screen. So I hope it will work. I'm just trying to show you how to set up MFA, and it's always good to set up two MFA methods, not just the app method, but also make use of the phone method as well. Because personally, I lost my phone, and that's why I lost access to my another account that I was using. So I'll try to navigate to portal.azure.com /@ customs. That is the directory I want to log into. Then I'll use a different account in this case. So I'll just press that. That is the account I want to use. Maybe incorrect. Okay, what's the issue? Use another account. Let me see. Customs. This is it. Why is it saying correct? Let me see. Okay. Oh my god. Something's up. Oh, sorry. I never said that he's up. Jeez. Let me just go back to the previous one. Let me see if I can change someone here. Okay. I'm going to use and let me see this one right here. Education methods. Then I'll click on require re-register MFA. So ideally, by clicking on this option right here, require re-register multi-factor authentication. By clicking on it, what you'll do is you'll be revoking the previous MFA that was registered for a user, and now the user will be required to register for MFA once again. So I'm trying to do that so that I can see if it will ask me to set up MFA. At this point, then I should guess how to go about it. So change this. Is it print? And password. Okay. Not sure about the password. Let me stop sharing that point. Kidogo. So the password down. Let me put the password. Okay. So once you input the password, because that's what I just did after I pause sharing. So I've input the password, and this is the parts whereby you'll be required to input your MFA. So normally, Microsoft Azure will give you like 14 days. I know for me, you see 11 days that are left to register for MFA, but normally to give you 14 days or 10 logins. So if even if you do the 10 logins within a single day, after the 10 logins, it will now require you to set up for MFA. So it's either 14 days or 10 logins. And then at this point, you can either choose to ask later so that you can set up MFA later, but you just go to set it up at the start whenever you're using the account for the first time. So I'll click on next to set it up. Then I'm waiting for it to load. So for this, you need to be having the Microsoft Authenticator app, and it will even let you know that. Okay, this is the problem with Microsoft now. So as you notice, we are back to the site I was telling you about, mysignins.microsoft.com, register, blah, blah, blah. Let's wait for it to just wind up. Okay, so if you go through the details, you need a Microsoft Authenticator app to set this up. And let me just remove it from my phone first. Okay, so I've removed it. So you can either click to download it, or but anyway, this will now help you to by choosing this method. You'll be using the Microsoft Authenticator app to set up your MFA. Then you just need to click on next, and so set up your account. It prompted that Wako School. So you need to select Wako School option. Click on next. So that is in the Authenticator app. You'll open it. Then there's a plus sign icon whereby, I don't know if I can show it to you. But you guys know, you just notice it. There's a plus sign icon at the top right section, whereby you click to add a new account. Then you select Work or School option. Then once you get there, you'll need to click on next. Then at this point, you just need to scan the QR code. Then after you've scanned the QR code, you click on next. So it will prompt you to input this number in your Authenticator app. So for me, that is 89. Then I click on yes. Then let's wait. So it will let me know that you can see Microsoft Authenticator app notification approved. So you have the option to click on next and just get down with the authentication setup. Then I think, let me just see. So you can duplicate it. You have that option. Then yeah, for me, whenever I get to this point, what I can do is I can click on I want to set up a new different method, so that I set up the phone method as well. But let me just see. So it will set up successful. Let me just read this. Customs Lab. And let me go to Microsoft My Science. But this one is not working. So under security info, I hope it work because it should. This is the easiest place to set up the double MFA. But anyway, if yours gets to work, there's an option here to click on additional MFA that you want to set up. So you just click on phone that you want to add a phone as an additional MFA step. Then you input your phone number that you're using. A code will be sent to your phone numbers or text message. Then you input that code in the browser here, and that will be it. You just I think click on next or done, and that way you'll have added the phone authentication method as your MFA as well. Maybe the site is having an issue, but it should work. Normally should work. I'll try it out. Maybe if it works by the time we are coming back for the evening session, I'll let you know. Password is about changing password name. It should be under security info. Okay, so that was it. You guys can try to set it up, and I hope you have a good day till we catch up.